no, that's great. Okay, and then switching gears a bit to talk about on-stream anxiety management. How do you? I mean, you kind of talked a little bit about the music, right? But are there
Mm.
other things that you do to manage anxiety when it starts to affect you while you're live?
I think so, yeah. If for any reason I feel like a cloud of anxiety approaching me while I'm on stream, I'll let the people know who I'm interacting with. I'll let them know that I need just like a moment to step away if need be. I'll go get a drink, walk around a bit. If I need to, I'll Discord call my fiance so I can speak with them or see them on cam, and it helps me feel a little bit more grounded. And then I can step back to the stream and continue if I'm feeling better. If I'm not in a good headspace afterwards, still. If it's not enough, I can basically you have to take time for yourself. It's perfectly okay to say, "Hey guys, I'm not in a good headspace right now. I need to step away, but I'll be back a little bit later," because at the end of the day, your mental health is really what's important. You got to make sure to take care of yourself. I think that people will understand that and they'll be able to you know, let you take the steps that you need to basically get yourself in a good headspace and then come back refreshed.
Yeah, awesome. That's some great techniques there. And speaking of techniques, like, have you found any useful ones for staying calm when something unexpected happens? I mean, obviously you're live and things are happening in real time. When something unexpected happens during your stream, how do you, you know, calm your nerves or stay cool?
Mhm. Some techniques for staying calm that I have when something unexpected happens. Telling myself that it's okay to say, I need a moment to pause or give me a moment so I can process this. um, you shouldn't be afraid to let your viewers or mods know what's happening if you're being overwhelmed or overstimulated, because they're there to support you essentially. Also, a big thing that helps me with anxiety is having the music in the background, like I stated previously, even if it's just loud enough for me to hear. It can be meditation music, lo-fi background music from reality, or something that just makes me feel less anxious. For some reason, just having that music, it allows my brain to flow better and it helps me be less anxious.
Yeah, that's awesome. Those are some great options there. And I mean, are there any like physical routines you do or breathing exercises that you do to help reduce stress before or during a stream at all?
Mhm. I don't necessarily have like a physical routine other than getting like a few drinks to prepare when streaming and talking to others, because I've noticed when I talk a lot, my mouth gets dry. So having stuff near me is essential. Um, that way I also don't have to take several breaks. I make sure to use the restroom before I start a stream. If I start feeling overwhelmed during a stream, sometimes I can pull up YouTube and do like box breathing exercises, which essentially, you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold it for 4 seconds, you breathe out for 4 seconds, and then you hold it for another 4 seconds. And you do that enough to the point where your brain is just like focusing on breathing. It's not focusing on the things that are making you anxious. And that kind of like just mellows you back down.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's great advice. And you just reminded me to take a sip of my water too. So
Yes, same.
thanks, thanks for that. Okay, yeah. And moving on to the next kind of topic, building confidence and mental strategies. Um, how do you build confidence and avoid self doubt?
Uh, I think a lot of the self-confidence I got was actually when I took the chance to embrace the flaws that I thought were flaws, because it turns out that sometimes those things are the things that people connect with, because people sometimes need to see others like themselves. And if you're masking or hiding things, people can't tell that you're uncomfortable. And it affects how you interact with others, or they can tell actually when you're uncomfortable, rather. And just being your most genuine self is probably the best bet, because that way, people can see how amazing you are, even if you don't think in your brain, "Oh man, I I like or I don't like this thing about me." Other people can like it. Like, it took me a while, but because of this app, I was able to be more confident in my own speaking voice.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think like all of us deal with that at some level, in the real world as well, right? From day to day.
Yeah.
So that's a great reminder. Um, What mindset shifts helped you stay relaxed and enjoy streaming instead of worrying about being perfect?
Um, I think the mindset of just realizing it's okay to make mistakes and sometimes point those mistakes out and laugh at them because nobody's perfect. Perfection doesn't exist. It's okay to mess up and take a beat and just kind of like go from there. Because at the end of the day, like we all make mistakes. I feel like there's things that I do where sometimes when I'm excited or thinking too fast, I'll mix things up. Like I would want to say either cute or sweet, and I'll just say queek, and I'm just like, that's a new word. Enjoy it, guys. So
Yeah. I think we've all been there,
yeah.
for sure. Are there any affirmations or positive habits you practice regularly to overcome anxious thoughts?
The affirmations. Um, I basically essentially I tell myself that it's okay to just enjoy yourself and live in the moment. Don't think too far ahead in the future because when you do that, you start getting anxious, and we're trying to avoid that, especially when streaming. So just like being present in the moment and um, enjoying it because you, today is today is the day. There's no tomorrow. There's today. So you just focus on like getting to have genuine interactions with people and just like having a good time. And if nobody shows up to your stream, take that time for you. Watch an anime that you like or listen to some music and just kind of vibe. And people will come. They'll come and it'll be nice.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think that's some great advice. Awesome. Okay. And then switching gears again, talking about audience and criticism. Um, how can streamers balance the need to engage with their audience while maintaining their own mental well-being?
Mm. So there definitely is a balance. You essentially you have to make sure that you're having a good time because if you're not, it'll make you really stressed out and anxious. So the forefront of a stream should just be you being able to do what you like to do. And then while people come in, that's when you engage. What helps me is when people come in, whether they be new or old, I'll read their bio so I can have something to kind of like connect with them. So if they say they like anime, I'll ask them what's their last anime that they watched. Or if they talk about they like music, I'll ask them what song has been like their session recently that they play on repeat. Um, Something to kind of like connect because one, I like to know these things because maybe I'll find something new. And two, it shows that you're interested in your audience and it helps engage.
Yeah, totally. That's awesome. And I mean, I think like similarly, right? I think this is something that probably a lot of streamers out there can relate to or have dealt with. But do you have any advice for dealing with negative comments or criticisms that you see come in from viewers?
Yes, I would say if you're not super quick witted, take a moment, pause, and ask yourself what's going on with them. Because essentially, a lot of people who come in to troll or say negative comments, they're not very happy people. They might be going through something that like they just aren't saying and they're trying to make other people feel as bad as them. So I try to not be super harsh on them. I'll be like, you don't have to do that. You should like you just came in. You're coming in real hot. Like maybe take a beat and relax. It's okay. You don't have to be like that. And if they continue to do so, feel free to block because at the end of the day, your mental health is very important. You need to make sure that you and your community are safe, essentially. Like you don't owe anybody anything when it comes to them treating you poorly.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And I like how you kind of mentioned that idea of projecting, right? Like something could be going wrong
Yeah,
in their life, or they're having a really bad day, or they just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And
exactly.
yeah, a lot of the
You never
time
know
in
what somebody's
general,
going through.
exactly, right? And a lot of the time people will just project what they're feeling inside outwards. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's great advice. Okay, and then moving on to the next topic, avoiding burnout. Um, how important is it to take breaks to manage streaming anxiety, and how do you set boundaries for yourself?
Okay. Um, as for breaks, I want to say the first maybe 4 months that I was here, I didn't take a lot of breaks. I was on here almost like 20 plus hours a day because I had this thing where I didn't want to be alone. And so talking with other people was like a constant comfort. I've learned to kind of whittle that down and not be on as much. Um, Partly because one, I now have people that I love and trust, friends on here like Sugarloaf Nebula, Bam, Lucky Char, and my fiance Jeff Evidently Deaf. So I have them to kind of like fall back on and like be able to talk to and communicate. So I don't feel like I have to always be online. Which that took a little bit of time, but I got there. As for what was the other part? I already forgot. I'm sorry. ADHD.
The other part was like setting boundaries for yourself.
Setting boundaries. Oh, yes. Setting boundaries is extremely important. If you let's say you've left your collabs open and somebody comes in, first timer, and they immediately send you a collab request, you are not obligated to let them up. You can tell them, "Hi, I'm so sorry. I don't know you yet. This is your first time. I'm going to say no for now, but get to know me, stick around, etc." And then they send a second one. That means they're not listening. So you give them a verbal warning. Okay, I already told you once. We're not going to do this. If you send another one, I'm going to block. And then most of the time they send a third one. So I just immediately block because they're not establishing my boundaries or they're not adhering to what I am setting for myself so that I can make sure that I'm safe and that my viewers are safe. Because I've had people come up in the past and I didn't really know them, and they came up and they were doing slurs and loud music and trying to be funny, and it's not cool. So you have to make your own boundaries and make sure that you're adhering to them because if you don't stick to your own boundaries, people are going to want to walk over you, and it's sad, but it's true.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And then moving on to the next question here in regards to burnout, how do you know when it's time to take a step back from streaming in order to avoid burnout or anxiety overload?
I've noticed that after I do like a big event on here, I will stream the entire week, like nonstop, to make sure that I can get like whatever the highest score for me is. And I will notice after that, I do get pretty burned out. So I will come on here and I'll do my 15 minutes. I'll just hang out for a little bit. And then my downtime is I'll hang out in my fiance's stream and he'll put like a sign up saying Ducky is here, but AFK. And what helps me kind of like mellow out so that I don't feel like I want to quit streaming altogether is I'll play some music that I like, and I'll play mobile games. And the mobile games, for some reason, they just like stimulate my brain to get back to a creative sense. Because I get sucked dry from all creativity. Like my brain just kind of like melts from like all week. I'm on here all week, and I sleep here too, and it's funny. But yeah, that definitely helps. Just having a space that you can go to that you feel safe in, and they'll allow you to do whatever you want. You don't have to perform or do anything. You can just essentially be yourself and just unwind.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. Um, and then yeah, kind of switching gears again. I think this is something that you've kind of talked about a little bit in terms of the friends that you have, your fiance, and kind of the system that you have around you. But kind of talking about building support systems. Can you
Mm.
share how a support system, whether it's friends, family, or anything else, other streamers have helped you overcome anxiety? And I think you kind of were alluding to it a bit in the
Yeah,
last question as well,
yeah,
but I'll give you a little bit
absolutely.
of time to expand a little
Essentially,
bit more.
yeah. Having a good support system, whether it be your fiance or loved one or significant other, whatever it may be, or even friends or people that you choose as your family on reality, because I've seen people have like reality families. Just having that support of knowing that somebody's there that you can kind of speak with, it's so important for your mental health. Um, and you can kind of lean on them if need be. And also, going to other people's streams, people that you maybe admire, like getting to know them and talking to them and being a part of their streams, they'll notice that, and you can kind of basically make connections. And that's like another form of like you can kind of like bounce ideas off of them or what have you. And it's good to just like any avenue that you can kind of have to branch out and also just like make connections. That's the way to go.
Yeah, awesome. And for those out there who are maybe earlier on in their kind of streaming journey and kind of feel like they're on their own right now, how would you recommend they reach out to others for support if they are feeling overwhelmed?
I would say it may be scary to reach out to others for assistance or help, but there are a lot of great people on this app. I know that when people come in and ask me for any advice, I am more than happy to give them any advice that I can because I want to make sure that other people are thriving. I don't want to gatekeep the information because, like, who knows? They could be like the next big VTuber, and like I will feel like, oh man, I remember when I gave them some advice. Like, you never know what the future holds, and just don't be afraid to reach out to other people because it may be scary, yeah, but being able to like get with other people and like find out information. Sometimes you'll talk to somebody and you'll get something that you never would have thought of, and that's honestly the best part.
Yeah, that's great advice. Um, okay, and then switching gears again, talking about long-term strategies. How has your approach to streaming changed over time as you've learned to manage anxiety?
Okay. Over time, my stream has changed vastly, quite honestly. Like the very first streams, I was so shy. I didn't want to speak on cam. I ended up muting myself and just watching YouTube videos and text chatting with people. And then they had the fishing game, and I was kind of forced to speak because I couldn't type and also fish at the same time. And that was what kind of helped with my confidence. But like just as I adapted and like did more streaming, I was in the beginning just doing like anything to kind of get views. Like I'll do r ooh, ooh, and now I'm just like I'm here to basically chill out and hang out with my new friends that come in. We can listen to music, we can chat, and I don't have to like essentially do those things unless I feel like I want to. Um, so I would say in that regard, I'm more um I guess I'm more chill essentially, and I don't have to use gimmicks essentially to um stream. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. That totally makes sense. And then, I mean, what are some long-term strategies that have helped you become more comfortable and confident as a streamer?
Definitely doing it like even if you're uncomfortable and you have anxiousness. I'm not saying just like continuously be anxious the whole time, but like just doing like a few short streams to kind of like get like basically you're getting a splash of what it's like and kind of growing. But the best thing I can tell you is go to other people's streams, see what you like about them and what you don't like about them, and well, not about them, but like how they stream essentially, and like kind of make mental notes and find your own way of incorporating the things that you like into your stream, and it kind of like helps you become more confident because you're kind of I don't know finding your way through just experience, I guess.
Yeah, no, totally. I think that's actually great advice, right? And like uncomfortability is like where you grow, you know, like when you get step out of your comfort zones, when you like build new
Yeah.
skills and grow. So yeah, totally. I think that that is again some great words of wisdom.
Yeah, and if you have butterflies, it means like you're excited about something and it's worth pursuing.
Yeah, and like I mean I do this monthly, right? And I still get like butterflies before I start the
Yeah.
stream, you know? So it's like it
Same.
never really goes away. So yeah, it just kind of comes with the territory. You just get used to
Yeah,
learning how to manage it, right?
exactly.
Okay, so advice for new streamers. What advice would you give to new streamers who are struggling with anxiety or nervousness about going live?
Okay, so my best advice, if you honestly just don't think that you can do a stream by yourself, collab. Ask people that have the collab spot open though, because sometimes people will come in and say, "Can I collab?" and I don't have it open. But there's a specific, um, what do you call it, category essentially for streaming. They're looking for people to collab. So I would say go to those places, like watch them, see if you vibe with them, and then send a collab request. And then you're talking with people, um, even though it's like you're hearing them physically, it kind of gets you to like know how to interact with new people. And then having that, it'll help you kind of be more comfortable when you have people come in that are just solely focused on you because you've had that time to have that interaction.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I've had the honor of meeting so many amazing streamers and talking to them about their streaming journeys here on reality. And that's one thing that I hear a lot, right, is they started their streaming journey through collaborating with other people,
Yeah,
and it helped them to make them feel comfortable in finally going live on their own stream. So yeah, totally.
it's so
Uh,
important because getting to speak with new people, you get new perspectives, and you can kind of like navigate through conversations better because you've had that experience.
exactly. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, and then the next kind of advice for new streamer question that I have is if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice during your early streaming days, what would it be?
Knowing now what I know, I would definitely go back and say, just have fun and be yourself and don't be so hard on yourself because essentially I it took me like 4 to 5 streams before I started talking. And had I known like that people were so kind and welcoming on this app, I would have just started from square one, just doing that.
Yeah, awesome. That's great advice. Okay. And then kind of looking ahead to the future, how do you continue to manage anxiety as your stream grows and you begin to face new challenges?
Okay. So managing anxiety as you continue to grow, it can be challenging from time to time. Definitely lean upon your friends if you feel anxious. But just doing it daily, the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. So you become a little bit less anxious, which is good. And if you're still like super anxious, it's okay to take breaks, take pauses. If you need to do like some dailies with like muted stream where you're typing, it's okay. Not everybody is an introvert. I am, or not an introvert, an extrovert. I'm an ambivert, which is a mix of introvert and extrovert. I'm more extrovert online, less so in person. So I'm more introvert in person. But just like getting out there, it really helps with the anxiety. And if you need a break, take that break because we're going to be here. It's going to be here tomorrow, you know?
Yeah, good point. And then I guess like my last question for you is what's next for Ducky in your streaming journey? Like, and how do you stay excited without letting anxiety hold you back?
What's next in my streaming journey? I want to continue for sure because I love streaming and getting that genuine interaction with new people. Um, I really like just if I can remembering like little bits and pieces of something that somebody said so I can ask them about it later because like an added step to say, hey, I paid attention. I don't know what's going on. But like definitely I want to do that. And I would like to also branch out and try some new things. Um, I think one of the things that just makes me excited to keep coming back is, like I said, having made friends like the ones I spoke about earlier and my fiance. But just like I want to keep doing what I love and just live every day as a happy day because it is when I'm out here and just meeting new people and speaking with them.
That's awesome. That kind of wraps up my questions for you. But Ducky, you've been a great guest. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you taking the time to be here and share your knowledge and your experience with everyone
Yes,
that's watching.
I
Um,
appreciate being here too.
you definitely dropped some gems. And yeah, I
Thank you.
really enjoyed the conversation. So thank you
Yes,
so much. And thank you to everyone who's here to watch, and
yes,
everyone in
thank
the
you,
chat
everybody.
who's been so supportive. I've been following along. We appreciate you all. And we will be back next month for another streamer session. So yeah, please check us out and make sure you go check out Ducky as well.
Yes.
Yay,
Oh,
awesome.
also,
Th-
one last thing.
yeah,
If you
yeah,
guys
go for
have
it.
any questions, feel free to like message me. I'll try to get back as soon as I can. If like you have any questions with anxiety, I'll be happy to give any tips and tricks.
Awesome. That's super nice of you. Um, Thank you again, and yeah, thank you to everyone. I'll see you next time.
Yes, see you
Bye.
next time. Bye.